Councillors? Welcome to our Ordinary Council, 31st January 2022. It is 12 o'clock. So, Ms. Wilderman, are we're good? Thank you, thank you. Just waiting for the CFO to settle in. Is the attendance register circulating? Can we just make sure we have enough windows open? I think it's a sunny day outside. Can we just make sure that there is enough windows open to comply with the COVID regulations? Can we keep our masks on also, please? Thank you. I take it that the attendance is circulated. Can we then have 1 minute of silence to say our different prayers and our different religions, starting now? Thank you. Thank you. We are on the agenda. We are going now. We are done with the attendance register. We will be moving on to point 3 on the agenda, the application for leave of absence. We have received no applications of leave. We then move on to point 4, which deals with the declaration of interest. Is there any interest from any councillor pertaining this meeting here today? I take it that there's none. Thank you. We will then move on to point 5, the confirmation of minutes for previous meetings. 5.1, minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting dated 30th November 2021 was approved by Council at its Ordinary Council meeting, except for Resolution C/5/02/11/21, which was resolved that Council will then listen into the resolution regarding the status report of the implementation of water management devices as a water demand management device and conservation intervention. Can we then just get that point under just sorry, can you just I just get back? Can we play it from the beginning? We will. We can't hear it. Is there perhaps any? Thank you very much. Is Councillor Mhlana?
Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. I'm happy that there is a clarity around the resolution of this water meter devices. And I listened there carefully on what Councillor Kolwapi was saying, which it was not seconded, was what she was saying came up in our IDP meeting with Franslin, that we have agreed as a council that these devices will first be installed into all councillors' houses and properties that are owned by the municipalities, which is not the case. I see the minutes are clear here that we have agreed that these devices will go into all the municipal properties first. Thanks.
Thank you. Executive Mayor?
Thank you, Speaker. I think one of the concerns initially was about public participation, and it's clear from the IDP process that we're going through at the moment that the water manager has been talking about these meters at the IDP meetings as an introduction, and promising further public participation to explain the workings of the meters more completely so that the public understand exactly what the process is. So there are certainly public participation processes happening and promise of further processes, and that's what we need. We need to ensure that the public's properly informed about it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we will then take it, now that councillors have listened, it is needed for this to be better explained and more participation needed for these devices and things. Thank you. So can we then say that confirmation? Councillor Mhlana?
I move with the confirmation.
That we move with this from Councillor Mhlana. Thank you, Executive Mayor. Thank you. Ms. Wilderman, can you just then take us through the rest of the minutes?
We're still on point 5, confirmation of minutes. 5.2 is the minutes of the ordinary council meeting dated 15 December 2021, and it's starting at page 12, page 13, page 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and then the attendance registers 31, 32, and 33.
Thank you. Is that a true reflection, councillors? Councillor Nell,
I think we should accept the minutes. Thank you, Speaker.
propose that we accept by Councillor Nell. Councillor Ndai,
I second it, Speaker.
seconded by Councillor Ndai. Thank you. We then move on to the point 6. Statements and communications by the Executive Mayor and the Speaker, 6.1 and 6.2. Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. This is the first council meeting that we're having for this year, beginning January, obviously. And I'm pleased to see that Plet had a very busy festive season, with most of the businesses experiencing a large influx of tourists. Bitou was exceptionally busy, not only with tourists, but a lot of our local people living in Bitou that enjoyed the facilities, the beaches and other areas as well. So it was good to see a sense of normality returning, even though we are still under the current COVID-1 regulations. I also want to thank law enforcement and all the role players for ensuring that matters ran smoothly and that service delivery was maintained during this period. It's always difficult with the influx of tourists to ensure that our facilities are operating properly, that water leaks are attended to, sewage issues, electricity issues, and it's good to see that things were attended to very quickly. The following I mentioned in the Maker meeting last week, and I also want to repeat it here and emphasize it here, is that during November last year, we realized that our financial position was precarious, and this was confirmed by a report received from the Western Cape Provincial Government. Various precautionary measures were put in place to reduce our spending, which had exceeded our income in the previous months, and also to control staff appointments and to reduce staff costs, which were creeping towards 40% of our expenditure. The report received from the Western Cape Provincial Government provided some recommendations that needed to be followed by Bitou Municipality, some of which had already been implemented. Our excessive legal costs are still worrying. While controls are in place to reduce the occurrence of new costs, there are existing fees that are still outstanding and will still need to be paid. Thankfully, measures put in place after the 18th of November 2021 have now placed us in a position at the 31st of December 21 that is now slightly ahead of budget for the mid-year. There's still a long road to go, and careful budgeting will be needed to ensure financial sustainability. I want to thank the staff of Bitou Municipality for their efforts and cooperation so far in helping to stabilize our current situation and for their renewed vigor in ensuring prompt service delivery and assistance to the Bitou public. Although we still have some way to go, positive comments received by many members of the public are testament to the improved service that's been experienced. On the 25th of January, the acting municipal manager resigned unexpectedly, and we've not been able to contact him since then. An acting municipal manager has been appointed in the interim. The Auditor General has also announced that Bitou Municipality has maintained its unqualified status with findings for the 2020 and 2021 financial year. So congratulations to everyone in the municipality for that hard work that has helped us to keep the state, the unqualified status. Thank you. Also wish to remind everyone we're still in level 1 COVID restrictions, and we need to ensure that the relevant protocols are adhered to so that we protect our staff in their offices and also members of the public when they visit our offices. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also like to take this moment to thank each and everybody for taking care of themselves, for their families, the councillors, directors, senior managers, everybody. I could see we are full house here today, and therefore it shows that as leaders, we do respect what is on our doorsteps nowadays. So thank you very much from my side, each and everyone, for those of you who contributed to a very successful season for Plettenberg Bay, to ensuring that tourists and holiday destinations is keeping up to standards within Plettenberg Bay. I would like to say thank you very much. That's all from my side. Thank you. We then move on to point 7 on the agenda, which deals with presentations. I believe there's a presentation. Ms. Wilderman?
Mr. Speaker, sorry, I just got news from the Manager Electrical Services that the official from DMRE is not able to make a presentation today. So we will reschedule. Thank you.
We will then. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Apologies for the late announcement. So there will be then no presentations regarding the national solar water geysers things. We then move from that to point 8, which is the items for information which has been dealt with by the executive mayor in terms of delegated authority. There is no items, I believe. We then move to point 9, which is the noting of outstanding and partially implemented council resolutions, which is circulated. It is.
It's starting on page 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and page 50.
Are we all clear? Page. Are we all good with the outstanding matters pertaining council resolutions? I think we are all clear. So I don't see any indications from the floor. Which then we move on to point 10 in the portfolio of index. Councillors, can I ask that we please deal with the election of whip, which is meant to be later on under, but can I ask that we deal with it immediately underway?
Speaker, it is your prerogative as Speaker to change items around if you choose. So I would go with your suggestion.
Yes, I do understand. It's just that I also need to share. So we will then be dealing with the election of whip of council, which you would find on page 577 to page 579. Item number C, stroke 3, stroke 26, stroke 01, stroke 22. Can we? Sorry. Yes, you can. Please continue. just make sure that there's nomination forms to all councillors. Please. Can you help him if you don't mind? Is he under? Is he all everything all right there? Yes. Okay.
What we're going to do is go to each give out the donation forms, and from there we will also pass on the.
Sorry, MM. Can we just hold on, Director? You are. Yes, please assist.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Just to assist the acting municipal manager, I think first we need to get nominations from the floor and seconders before we go to this process.
Please pass for nomination. Yes, the nomination forms must be. Sorry, do we have nominations? Can we please have the nomination, Executive Mayor?
If we're asking for nominations at this point, I'd like to nominate Councillor Ulafure.
So just hold on. Okay. There's a nomination for Councillor Ulafure for Whip of Council. Can you just? Yes. I want to do that. Yes.
Seconded the proposal.
No, they will now. I just need to make sure that we have a counter proposal as well. There was one nomination for Councillor Ulafure. Is there any other nominations? Yes, I believe there's no. Councillor Kamkam?
Thank you, Speaker. I would like to be the second of the proposal.
There's no counter nomination, so it was seconded by the Executive Mayor. Can we circulate then? Just. Sorry, can we just hold for a minute? Can you just get the paper for the seconder and the nominee? That's what I want to make sure. Where's the acceptance?
Speaker?
We will be with you now. We're just holding to make sure that the noise is under control. We still. Can I have the letter to indicate of the acceptance?
Speaker.
I'll be with you now, Councillor Nel. Councillor Mhlanas. I just need to make sure that the councillor is accepted. Acting MM. In terms of the nomination forms, the Executive Mayor Dave Swart nominated Councillor Olivier, who then seconded by Councillor Kamkam. Councillor Olivier do accept. We received no other counter proposals for the election of work. So therefore, I would just like to give the two councillors a chance to raise their hands. Councillor Mhlana, your hand was up. Is he fine? Thank you. Councillor Nel?
I'm fine, Speaker. The only thing I wanted to say is if there is no counter proposal, there is no need to go to the vote, and then it could be accepted unanimously.
Thank you. There's no counter proposal. Can we then accept that we have elected Councillor Olivier as the whip of council? Thank you very much. Emma, it's fine. Thank you. Now that we have dealt with that out of the way, we then start now with the Section 1 Office of the Municipal Manager. Thank you, Ms. Wilderman.
First item under Section 1, Office of the Municipal Manager, is item C/1/21/01/22, 2021/2022, first quarter top layer is the PIP report, page 55 to 61.
Item now serving. Item is on screen. Councillor Tabai.
Take note of the report, Speaker.
We take note, Councillor Tabai. Thank you. Councillor Sam.
Seconded, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Proposed by Councillor Tabai, seconded by Councillor Manaba.
Item C/1/22/01/22, tabling of the draft 2020/2021 annual report, page 62 to 267.
The item is on page 62. Item now serving. Councillor Tabai.
Thanks, Speaker. I like that word, it's a draft. Why I've seen that it's really a draft, because of there's no forward for the municipal manager. So really, it is a draft. We take note of that.
Propose that we take note by Councillor Tabai.
Speaker, may I add something, please?
Just a minute. Mr. Groenewald.
Yeah, Speaker, I would just like to explain. The oversight report of the municipal manager or the acting municipal manager could have only been done after we had received the audit report or the management report. What I would like to mention that we have now obtained all the documentation for the annual report, and immediately after the council meeting, we will compile the report and then we'll make it public.
Thank you, Mr. Groenewald. There was a proposal by Councillor Kapai. Councillor Botha. Just hold on. Councillor Botha.
Thank you, Speaker. There are various errors in this report, in this draft report. I'm assuming that they will be looked at and corrected, particularly coming in through some words used, and then also in some of the tables with some of the percentages pulling through and some of the values pulling through that are inaccurate. Do you want me to go through them individually?
No.
Speaker, may I please come in here?
Just a minute. I just want to make sure. Councillor Botha, are you still on the floor? Or do you want?
I would like to.
Mr. Groenewald, you are recognized. Can you please respond to Councillor Botha?
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, the purpose of today's meeting is just to comply with legislation. So the annual report is only tabled. It is not for discussion. The moment it has been finalized, it goes out to the public, to the individual councillors, and to impact for comments. So today it's only the council must take note that the report is being tabled.
Thank you. Councillor Botha, are you? I just want to make sure that you are happy with the answer.
Just so long as what is incorrect is corrected, so that it does not reflect badly on the Bitou.
No. That's why it is in draft form. It will be then before.
Hopefully those issues will be corrected then.
Yes, now it will be circulated and all councillors will then make sure that it is correctly sent out to. Thank you. Councillor Kamkam, your hand was up.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, Councillor Botha actually served on MPEC, so it would be an ideal opportunity when you do the oversight to actually make sure that those amendments, those get amended. So that would be the ideal opportunity. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. There was a proposal. Councillor Olivier?
I want to second the tabling of the draft.
Proposed by Councillor Kapai and seconded by Councillor Olivier.
Item C/1/23/01/22, tabling of the 2021/2022 MFMA Section 72 between brackets mid-year budget and performance assessment report, page 268 to 301.
The item is serving. It's the item dealing with the tabling of the 2021-2022 MFMA Section 72. It is on page 268. Councillor Nel, I see your hand is up.
Speaker, yes, I propose we go with the recommendation by the Executive Mayor.
Proposed by Councillor Nel. Councillor Ndai.
I second it, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Ndai.
Item C/1/24/01/22, approval of the Audit and Performance Audits Committee Charter, page 302 to 322.
The item is serving. Councillor Mhlana.
I go with the recommendations of the Executive Mayor.
Councillor Mhlana, we go with the recommendations. Councillor Busakwe.
Seconded, Speaker.
Proposed by Councillor Mhlana and seconded by Councillor Busakwe.
Item C/1/25/01/22, schedule of meetings for the Municipal Public Accounts Committee between brackets impact for 2022, page 323 to page 324.
The item is on screen also. It's now serving. Councillor Kabai.
Thank you, Speaker. We take note of the scheduled meetings.
Councillor Kabai. Councillor Kamkam.
Seconded, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Kamkam.
Item C/1/26/01/22, terms of reference for the Municipal Public Accounts Committee, between brackets, impact, page 325 to 334.
Item is now serving. Councillor Kabai.
Thank you, Speaker. We take note of the reference of the Municipal Public Accounts Committee. Thank you.
Councillor Kabai. Councillor Mhlana.
Seconded.
Seconded, proposed by Councillor Kabai, seconded by Councillor Mhlana.
We're moving to section 2, finance. First,
Councillor Kabai.
Just for information purposes, Speaker, you will recall that all the committees were named and published. Now, Speaker, where you are an executive, believing you are not supposed to take part in those committees, and on a later stage, Council and I was elected as an executive at the district municipality. Now it's a matter of getting clarity, Speaker. Can be investigated whether she qualifies now to be part of that committee, because she is an executive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kabai. We do. I think we are on the next section, which is section 2.
No, you can allow the intelligence to answer.
Speaker, I did not request any recognition. I did not want to say anything. Let them prepare.
Thank you very much. We then continue.
item C/2/25/01/22, outstanding debt report for November 2021, page 336 to 361.
Item is on screen, page 336. Item now serving. Councillor Kamkam.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, we are very thankful for the inclusion of the report from the consultants that has been added to this report. I've noticed that there's only a 1% collection rate. That's for the period of February, between February and March. And we obviously know that the commission rate is 9.2%. However, Speaker, a decision was taken a while back to discontinue with the blockage of the prepaid meters and also the water restrictors. The reason was that we took a resolution to say that we needed further community participation to actually explain to the communities the reason for the restrictions, and also to explain to the communities the indigent process and what exactly it is that you qualify for when you qualify for indigent subsidy. Speaker, Council is also in the process, or will shortly be in the process, of reviewing our policies, because we're going into the draft budget process. And I would recommend that we look at the cost of services with the view of making it more affordable in order to assist low-income households, and also in order to assist a council to actually be able to get more return when it comes to our debt collection efforts. At the moment, I do not feel that the 1% is, I cannot say it's not adding value, but it's not speaking to our deep-rooted challenges that we have. We've got challenges of historical debt. We have challenges of, as it always comes up in the reports about our water meters that is buried under the ground, etc., etc. Some of those issues we will probably have to look at our organigram. We would probably also have to look at our policies, like I've mentioned, to review our policies and make it more affordable. However, Speaker, it's not to say that we don't want to encourage residents to make payments, because we all know with payments, it's the only way that we can actually keep the municipality afloat. Speaker, I propose that Council then extend the relief till the end of this financial year, and that Council then relook at our policies and our affordability for low-income households. And I also further propose that we go on an extensive community participation process to explain to the community exactly their responsibility as well as the relief efforts that we would like to offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Kamkam. Councillor Ndai, I see your hand is up. No, Councillor Ndai was. Yes, I did, but I was looking.
Okay, Speaker, I'll give him a chance because I would love to second what Councillor Kamkam is saying. Yeah. Thank you.
No, let me just say something. You see, I did look, but Councillor Tabai started a small meeting. So when he looked up, I recognized you. If it wasn't for the small session he had, I would have noted. Yes. That's why I look like.
That's why I want you to give him. Otherwise, he's going to make a drama.
Thank you, Councillor Ndai. You still? Can you?
Speaker, that's what I say. I second what Councillor the recommendation that Councillor Jessica is saying. Thank you.
Thank you. There was a proposal from Councillor Kam.
You said she seconded, whereas I've raised my hand. I was not going to second. I was going to talk about the matter in this item. They have gave me first. That is why, as a lady, she was giving it over to me.
Yes, but I noticed that you did not take the moment that she offered you,
yes,
if I'm
Speaker.
correct.
Yes,
No. She gave you. She gave you the opportunity. You didn't accept it. You. No, we. Councillor, she offered it. I was addressing you. You decided to. It's me.
Yeah, it's you. You should have accepted that offer and give it over to me.
Okay, we will then
Item is closed, Speaker.
take that we move on. Seconded by Councillor Ndai.
No, it's wrong what you are doing. It's very wrong.
It's not wrong, sir.
It's very wrong. Because I raised my hand. And moreover, you gave it to second. I was not going to second. I was going to talk about things that are in this item. Please allow me.
Councillor, we have closed the item. Thank you.
Speaker,
I understand
the way you
your.
are running this council now.
It is nothing. Thank you. We move on. Next.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, just to get clarity, we accept the recommendations of the Executive Mayor plus the 3 additional recommendations. Is that what you've accepted?
We've accepted such as.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving over to item C/2, /26/01/22, report on the implementation of the supply chain management policy for the second quarter, 1 October to 31st December 2021, page 362 to page 417.
The item is now serving. Thank you. Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like some clarity on some items. We know we normally employ security for a period of time, and it's a tender that goes out for it, but there's often additional security that's procured from time to time, and we never really get any reasons given as to why it's happened, and it would just be good if it can be included in the reports what the additional security is. I know at times we've had to obtain security for protection of municipal properties, like the housing developments and that, but it's not often clear in the items that they're presented to us what the additional is. That would just help us understand. So, initially it looks like it might be something unnecessary, but with explanation and a brief explanation comments, it would at least clarify some examples. And just as one example, I don't need it on this, is item number 18 on page 126, additional security services for period ending 30th of June. It's just, there's an amount there of 904,000. It would be good to know what these additional securities were needed for, just to give us a better understanding.
Sorry. We are now on page, just a moment, 3 to 6, we're dealing with that item. Thank you. Councillor Mhlana was...
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. I'm so shocked now that the executive mayor is raising this matter here, while he's an executive mayor. Has privilege of asking the officials this, what he's seeking clarity on, and also in his MACO, I was here to observe this item was serving on the MACO, his MACO. So I don't know now.
Thank you.
Speaker.
Councillor Nyal.
I propose that we go with the recommendation by the executive mayor, which is reflected on the screen.
There's a proposal by Councillor Nyal. Councillor Mhlana.
I support Elderman.
Proposed by Councillor Nyal, seconded by Councillor Mhlana. Sorry, Councillor Kolwapi.
My hand was up before Mr. Mhlana, Councillor Mhlana. What I was wanted to say is to say, as much that I also second the recommendations of the acting municipal manager, but I would also love to emphasize the fact that we need to work very much more to the potential of irregular expenditure not to be there. Emphasizing this in the presence of the CFO and the acting MM, that they are in that department, that they need to circulate a circular that says every things that needs to be secured in the municipality to be bought with the SCM rules, it needs to go to SCM department, so that no work of SCM should be done into the departments, because you will find, as up to now, as MPEC chairperson, there's small things that you find as irregular that comes from Auditor General, is those little things that where people, they will just secure things and buy things of 2,000, 3,000. Everything must go to SCM. I would love the recommendation must add that, so that we avoid the potential irregular expenses. We add work to MPEC unnecessarily. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kolwapi. It was then proposed and seconded. Can we move on?
Item C/2/27/01/22 Midterm Budget Performance Assessment Report, Section 72, as at 31st December 2021, page 418 to page 442.
The item is serving.
Speaker.
Councillor Nyal.
I propose that we take note of the recommendation.
Proposed by Councillor Nyal. Councillor Ndai.
Seconded, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Ndai. We move on.
We move to item C/2/28/01/22, Section 71 report for the month of December 2021, page 443 to page 543.
Item is on screen now serving.
I propose that we take note.
No, Councillor Nyal, just hold on. Councillor Olivier.
We take note of the report, Speaker.
Proposed by Councillor Olivier.
I will second that, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Nyal.
Item C, stroke 2, stroke 29, stroke 01, stroke 22, cost containment report for the quarter ending 31st December 2021, page 544 to page 548.
The item is now serving. Councillor Ndai.
I propose, Speaker, we take note.
Proposed by Councillor Ndai. Councillor Nel.
Second, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Nel.
Item C, stroke 2, stroke 30, stroke 01, stroke 22, report on unauthorized expenditure for the second quarter, page 549 to 552.
On page 549, starting. The item is now serving. Councillor Nel.
I propose that we go with the recommendation by the Executive Mayor.
Proposed by Councillor Nel. Councillor Olivier.
I second that recommendation, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Olivier. We move on.
Item C, stroke 2, stroke 31, stroke 01, stroke 22, list of withdrawals from municipal bank account for the quarter ending 31st December 2021, page 553 to 558.
Item serving. Councillor Nel, your hands up.
Speaker, I propose that we take note of the report. We go with the recommendation of the Executive Mayor.
Proposed by Councillor Nel. Councillor Busakwe.
Seconded, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Busakwe.
Item C, stroke 2, stroke 32, stroke 01, stroke 22, environment report for the quarter ending 31st December 2021, page 559 to 561.
Item serving.
Speaker, I propose that we take note of the report.
Councillor Nel proposed. Councillor Ndai.
I seconded, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Ndai.
We now move to section 3, corporate services. First item, item C, stroke 3, stroke 23, stroke 01, stroke 22. Customer care section, report for December 2021, page 563 to page 576.
Thank you. The item is serving. Councillor Ndai, is your hand up?
We take note, Speaker.
There's proposal by Councillor Ndai.
Second, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Nel. We move on.
Section 4, community services. There's no items for consideration. Moving to section 5, engineering services. Item C, stroke 5, stroke 12, stroke 01, stroke 22. Municipal infrastructure projects, between brackets MIG, revision of detailed project implementation plan, between brackets DPIP, page 589 to 585.
Thank you. Page 581 starts from there. The item is serving.
Speaker, I propose that we go with the recommendation of the Executive Mayor.
Proposed by Councillor Nel. Councillor Olivier.
I second this money for Kranzuk. I second that recommendation. Thank you.
Seconded by Councillor Olivier. We move on.
We move to section 6, economic development and planning. First item is item C, stroke 6, stroke 10, stroke 01, stroke 22, amendment of Bitou bylaw on municipal land use planning 2015. Consideration of public comments and final amended bylaw, page 587 to page 878.
The item is serving. Councillor Botha, is your hand up?
Thank you. I note in this one that we've had lots of comments made from the public, so we had a massive public participation process, but we don't seem to take any of their recommendations, they've all been rejected, and then we're still sticking with what we want to do. And I'm not necessarily agree with it. I think the way that the law is interpreted is interpreted in the way, you know, in a very simple manner. And by taking out the words title deeds, we are completely taking out any effect on the title deed, that we are not, we can't control that. So I'm not in agreement with this. I think we need, I'm not sure if we've had our own legal opinion. Have we had our own legal opinion?
Speaker, if I may add,
Councillor Nel.
I think if Mr. Giereke is present, it might perhaps be incumbent upon him to explain for us now. But there has been a significant amount of legal investigation done into this matter. And in particular, the Ministry of Local Government and Environmental Affairs have been involved in as well. And the Ministry has in fact suggested that this item be done as it is proposed here. But I think it would be a good thing if we give Mr. Rudolph Giereke an opportunity to say something about this.
I believe Mr. Giereke is virtual. Can we just get Mr. Giereke virtual, please, to respond to... Just a moment, Mr. Giereke, Councillor Botha. Mr. Giereke will address. Thank you, Mr. Giereke, it's yours.
Mr. Speaker, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Apologies for not being physically in attendance, Mr. Speaker. I think the simplest way for this one is to say that we are now going back to the situation as it was before 2015. Before 2015, the municipality was not responsible, and it should not be responsible, to enforce any private title conditions, because those are private contracts. When the standard bylaw of the provincial government came into operation in 2016, an error was made, and through that error, the municipalities were required to now police private title conditions as well. That was an oversight, and that oversight is putting a huge amount of extra work on the officials. So the provincial administration, the provincial government, has actually, in their own review of the bylaw, have suggested to all municipalities that we revert to the position as it was before 2016, so that municipalities are not liable to enforce private title conditions. The wording we are using is exactly the wording that is recommended by the provincial government. So Councillor Nel is 100% correct. Unfortunately, it happens once in a while when things are advertised for comments. Some people, and in this case I may mention Nature's Valley, the Nature's Valley Ratepayers Association feel very strong about the title conditions that applies to Nature's Valley. Their concern was that by taking away or by adopting this decision, the municipality will ignore all title conditions in future. That is not the case. The municipality will still enforce all title conditions that were imposed by the provincial administrator, those that we are responsible for. The only conditions that we will not look at are the private conditions, which are private agreements between private people. So it was a misunderstanding, and unfortunately that misunderstanding has been communicated by the Nature's Valley Ratepayers Association to their members. So people were really mobilized to object without a clear understanding of what we're trying to achieve. I hear what Councillor Botha is saying. I do not believe it is necessary for a legal opinion on this matter, because we are acting 100% in accordance with what provincial government has asked us or recommended to us that should be done. I hope that clarifies the matter. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Gericke. Councillor Botha.
Sorry, with regards then to the email from Theo Rebel from the Western Cape Gov, I mean, he does give an alternative amendment, a proposal for an alternative amendment to the section. Would that then, I mean, if we are following the provincial government's direction, would we then not be accepting their proposal?
That will be the Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. The spatial planner for Bitou Municipality in Annexure D on page 562 has addressed all the concerns that were raised in the various objections, including what Mr. Gericke mentioned now in his explanation. And he's grouped it into various categories, and he's given quite a concise 3-page explanation as to how it impacts and the misunderstanding, which clarifies why the municipality is recommending that we go with the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. The item is still serving. Councillor Nell.
I suggest that we just give Councillor Botha a moment to find the section that the Mayor has referred it to before we continue.
Can you just assist Councillor Botha? Councillor?
I see the report referred to by the Executive Mayor. If the belief is that we are amending the municipal bylaw, then so be it. But we are not taking the DEA recommendation. That would be my comment.
Thank you, Councillor Botha. Councillor Nell.
Speaker, I must confess that Councillor Botha is mentioning something which has some concern to me. I have not seen that recommendation, and perhaps it would be kind if you could read it because I don't have the minutes in front of me.
No, time is not up. I'm going to check our time now. Time on the matter, Councillor? You have...
You would want me to read out 3.1.a?
You have 2 minutes left on the matter, Councillor.
Sorry?
Your time on the matter. But continue.
It's fine. I note that we are of the Bitou administration is of the opinion. I'm not necessarily in agreement with it, but in that regard, it looks like I'd stand alone. So that's as much as I can do.
Thank you. That's yours on the matter, Councillor Botha. Executive Mayor?
Sorry, Speaker, just a correction on that page number. It was page 818 where Annexure D is.
Councillor Nell.
Speaker, this is a matter which has had some great sensitivity amongst a lot of our people, especially from the Nature's Valley area. And it is a matter which we should take carefully and consider carefully. But all the indications are that this is not going to affect any rights that people have individually. All it is doing, it is removing the responsibility of the municipality to enforce rights which should actually be done between the parties. It's not changing anything as far as the municipality's responsibilities are concerned. I think there has been a lot of misunderstanding, including myself. I was also concerned about it at the point until I understood what this is all about. So with that, Speaker, I propose that we go with the recommendation and accept the change of the bylaw.
There's a proposal by Councillor Nell.
Sorry, may I just suggest then that we communicate, especially with those that have been participating in the public participation process, that we just communicate and give our viewpoint, so that given that there has been this misunderstanding, that they then know that they've been heard, but this is the viewpoint of the Bitou municipality.
I didn't hear the last part there, Councillor Botha.
Sorry, Speaker, I'm just reiterating that we should then have good communication with those that have been involved in the public participation process, so that they are understanding of the viewpoint and that they know what their rights are, given what
Councillor Nell has indicated. Yes. Thank you very much, Councillor Botha. Councillor Kapai.
Speaker, I'm confused. These are objections. And if then there was public participation, people taken through, the residents, why so many objections? That's the matter I think is coming up now. Because really, once you do public participation, you are cutting objections so that people can understand. So all these residents don't understand. You see, the paper, it's objections only. So really, I think there's something wrong here.
Councillor Nell.
Speaker, I think that is precisely what Councillor Bitou is asking. I think it is nothing wrong but courtesy for our municipality to go back to those people and give them the full explanation. Therefore, I think we can go with this recommendation and carry on.
There's a Councillor Nell propose that we go. Councillor Kapai.
Speaker, my understanding, why not refer the item back and go for public participation there? Because really, these objections are really telling us, as councillors in council, that there was no interaction, more explanation to them. If then that happened, we wouldn't see these objections here. I was so shocked when I received it. I was like, yo, we are going to stay here until the evening. When I peruse, I found that these are objections. I am suggesting, why not refer the item back, go and consult with the residents of Nature's Valley, and take them on board, and then do it right. Thank you.
Is from Councillor Kapai.
Speaker.
Councillor Nell.
Listening to Councillor Kapai, and I think he's actually right. So despite his immediate jumping to conclusions again, and I think Councillor Bitou also has a point, and I think we can refer the matter back because of its sensitivity and allow the people a better understanding, because right now those objections are based on what I perceive to be an incorrect explanation or an incomplete explanation to them. And I think
can we have one?
Can I just
order,
please? And I believe that will be proper for us to actually give those people a complete explanation. I think perhaps in this instance, let's refer the matter back. Let's give the opportunity for the people to get a proper and a more in-depth explanation of what is going on here, and then we can make the final decision. Thank you.
So I take it that we move with the proposal by
my clever friend on the other
Councillor Kapai, that there's a proposal that we refer this matter back, which
if you are still the magistrate,
can I?
You are going to sentence me
Order, this is out of line. This is
Speaker,
Councillor
I've
Kapai.
noticed some people
This-
no longer ask for recognition. They just
This
go
is
ahead and talk.
out of line.
No, you are
Can
really
we,
being
Councillor, come.
unruly.
Just order. Just hold on. Can we then go with what Councillor Kapai proposed? Councillor Kapai, can we have one meeting, please? Councillor Mhlana, can we have one meeting? So it was then proposed by Councillor Kapai that we refer this matter back. Am I correct by saying that it was seconded by Councillor Nel?
Speaker, yes. I seconded it.
We then refer this matter back. Guys, Councillor Kapai and Mhlana, tell for the last time. Supin the land to via, please, man. Go to Ben in the Oko Apa. And land to councillors, I will be land to Tetis Apa, man. Ben in Mokola now, first and second time also now, but we have Councillor Nel, I have 1 point to love. So please, can we have one meeting? Yankosi.
I'm impressed, Speaker, that you can speak Xhosa like this, eh? Progressive.
On this matter then, thank you, councillors. The item is now closed, which is done with the portfolio of index. If I'm correct. Sorry.
We've got one more item, Speaker.
Ms. Wilderman,
We've got one more item.
can we get it then?
Item C/6/11/01/22, Building Control, Monthly Reports, April 2021 to November 2021, page 879 to 1074.
The item is serving.
Speaker,
Councillor Nel.
I propose that we go with the recommendation of the Executive Mayor and that we can go to the report.
Councillor Nel proposed. Deputy Mayor.
Seconded, Speaker.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Busakwe. With the item then closed, we will then move. I think we're done with the portfolio of index. We're done. We move back to the agenda, which takes us to point 11. Yes, on the agenda, which deals with urgent matters submitted by the municipal manager. None received. Moving on to point 12, the consideration of notice of motions. Point under sub 12.1. There was a motion submitted in terms of the rules of order. Motion dated 24th January, received from Councillor Nel and then seconded by Councillor Swartz, which is the title of notice in terms of rules 36 of the rules of order of Bitou Municipality. Council of the intention to move a motion at the council meeting of 31st January 2022 in order to review and revoke the decision by former acting executive mayor Sandisot Kapai by permitting the construction of a boutique hotel on ERF 156 Plettenberg Bay. It is circulated.
Thank you,
Councillor
Speaker.
Nel.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, for purposes of the record, I will read the motion into the record. I will have to, however, refrain from reading the whole background because it's a very lengthy background, and I do know that most of our councillors are aware of that background and they've had time to read through the background provided here as well. So what I'm saying, the Speaker, is please be pleased to take note that I, Councillor W.J. Nell, supported by the required 25% of councillors, in fact more than that, hereby move my intention to request the Council to revoke and review the decision taken by Councillor Kapai on the 21st of June 2021 in terms of delegated powers conferred on him at the time while acting as Executive Mayor to permit the construction of a boutique hotel on Earth 156 Signal Hill, Plettenberg Bay. If I move to the motivation to Council, I must refer Council to Section 59(1) of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act 32 of 2000. Hereinafter, I will refer to it as the Systems Act. In terms of that Act, a municipal council must develop a system of delegations that will maximize the administrative and operational efficiency and provide for adequate checks and balances. So what we have now, Speaker, at the new term, this is precisely what must be done in terms of Section 59. The Systems Act compels us, as a newly elected council, to review these delegations. And the Systems Act, in fact, says it must be reviewed when a new council is elected. And then the important part, Mr. Speaker, Section 59(3)(a) states the following. The Municipal Council, in accordance with the procedures in its rules of order, at the request in writing of at least 1/4 of the councillors, must review any decision taken by such a political structure, political office bearer, councillor, or staff member in consequence of a delegation or instructions, and either confirm, vary, or revoke the decision. Thus, it is moved that Council revoke the decision taken by Councillor Kapai on 21 June 2021 to permit the construction of a boutique hotel on Earth 156 Plettenberg Bay. It is further moved that the definition order granted under the Western Cape High Court case number 21091/15 be executed with immediate effect, failing which the municipality may effect the demolition itself and recover its cost from Psycho Sales Pty Limited as originally ordered by the court. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Nell.
And Speaker, with that, I propose that I request Council that we go over to the vote and vote on the matter now.
Councillor Nell, it is that proposed that we move for the vote. See, Councillor Kabai's hand is up. Councillor?
May I just order immediately also state that the Council rules of order in terms of revisions and decisions forbids the counter arguments in Council. It is not supposed to be argued at all.
Can we just...
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm going to be very short. There's no argument. But I want to also, our learned friend, to know that the executive mayor is given powers, that is Section 79 of the planning bylaw, to execute on behalf of the municipality. Then therefore, Speaker, what is being read there, it's nonsensical, and it's going to invite litigation to the municipality. You will be litigated, and believing that you must pay in your pockets as people who are going to accept that nonsense. Speaker, moreover, let me stand up and put it on record that I am against it as Councillor Sandiso Gabai. Whatever decision that is taken here, I'm not part of it. If litigation comes to this council, to those who agreed to revoke, then so be it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just a Councillor Nell.
Speaker, if I just may reply, I hear what Councillor Gabai is saying. Councillor Gabai is missing the law. The law is...
He said
it's not debating now. Speaker, if I may finish. This law is very clear on this matter, and it says that it must be done. And the law says that a decision by the mayor or executive mayor at the time must be revoked or can be revoked. So therefore, I propose that we go over to the vote and just stop this expanded effort by everybody on the other side to block things and carry on.
Can I recognize that the Councillor said his hand was up, but Councillor Mhlana?
Should I start?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Speaker. I, Tembela Mhlana, the council of this council, am against this motion, and it must be recorded as such. Thank you.
Councillor Sethi?
Councillor Sethi, I'm against.
Councillor Manqaba?
Thank you, Speaker. Since it's quite clear that in this council that whatever is being tabled, it is just minimized and rounded off to the nearest bill nail, Councillor Samkele Manqaba, is against this motion and the litigation that will actually come because of it. Thank you.
Councillor Koloape?
Mr. Speaker, I believe that the case of that house that is at Signal Hill, it has been long coming. It has been an issue of the residents of Platinum Bay. I therefore recommend it should be demolished. I'm getting just surprised that the same people that were in this council those years, when the decision was taken by the executive mayor or the acting executive mayor by that time, it comes now becoming his decision whilst he was doing a decision in this house. Again, protection.
Guys, can we respect the, councillors, can we respect the, Councillor Ndai, can we, out of respect, please?
Whether whilst he was acting and the DA councillors chose not to come.
Now, this is getting, understand, but the councillor is still on the floor. Can we please respect the councillor? You will get a chance. Let us not throw the bone back and forth, please. I now permit Councillor Koloape to continue with no disturbance.
The same councillors that are revoking this whole thing, they were also here in this house taking this decision, whether they were not present at that time due to their political squabbles they had that time. But when this comes back, it will never come and say it was who would take the decision and whatever. When litigation is coming with the same council of Bitou that took the same decision of allowing the person who bought that plot to build a boutique hotel, few months down the line, they come and revoke. It shows that somewhere, somehow, there is something that is not right, and it should not come and tax the ratepayers' money through the litigation. We're talking about the constraint, how to save money. To save money is not to spend, it's not to waste. The continuation of undermining the Section 56 employments. Whereas we know we've got people who are setting a precedence here that when the other one feels that I want to revoke, I'll revoke. That precedence that we continue setting in this council, it will come back and haunt us, and it will eat in the budget. The same things that we're concerned about, that we're worried about the monies that we spend, but seemingly will do the same thing. And I get worried that you'll find that the leading coalition, it always does things in undermining when we're sitting on this opposition to say, can we allow not to do things like this and observe the law and everything? Litigation will come and haunt us. And I would love to put it in words that Councillor Nokuzola Koloape will not be part of this litigation that will come and haunt. I wish that plot, demolition continues safely so, then after that, it continues according to the agreements that were done in this council. Thank you.
Councillor Botha?
I'm for the motion.
Councillor Ndai. Can you restart, please, Councillor?
Councillor Boita is for the motion.
Councillor Botha is for the motion. Councillor Nell?
Thank you, Speaker. I am for the motion as well, and I suggest that we now just continue with the vote. Thank you, Speaker.
Can we then move on for the voting purpose of this matter?
Speaker, I'm in favour and I vote for carrying on with the motion.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm for the motion.
Councillor Executive Mayor? Councillor Ndayo, your hand was up? Did you want to do continue?
I'm in favor on the motion, Speaker.
Continue.
Speaker, my signature is on this motion, so I'm supporting it.
Councillor Kamkam, same sentiments of Councillor Olivier.
Councillor Pusaka supporting the motion, Speaker.
Councillor Terblanche is supporting. So therefore, the majority is in favor. We then pass. Thank you. With that matter then said, thank you very much. We will then move on to point 13. It is the consideration of notices of questions. 13.1. Notice of questions received from Councillor Tabai, dated 8 December 2021 in terms of Section 37, read with Section 41 of the Rules of Order for submission to this Council. That was held on 15 December 2021. Council at its ordinary meeting of 15 December resolved that the matter be postponed and that the Executive Mayor, Councillor Dave Swart, responds to the motion of questions at the next meeting of Council, of which the Executive Mayor will present his response. Thanks. The Executive Mayor, do you?
Thank you, Speaker. The response has been circulated to councillors.
Thank you very much. Yes, I. Just hold. Councillors, did they receive? Ms. Waldemar, did they all councillors receive?
It was circulated, sir, this morning.
Thank you. Councillor Mangaba, I see your hands up.
Thank you, Speaker. This is just to confirm that we have received it. However, can I suggest that since the last we were here, we had expected Mr. Kabai to actually read the motion of questions. In the same breath, allow the Executive Mayor to actually read out his answers.
It depends for the Executive Mayor to.
Thank you, Speaker. I'll read out the answers. To question 1, is the resigned Municipal Manager, Advocate Lungwabo Ngoko, still on Bitou payroll for the month of December, serving his notice? The answer that was yes. Was the resignation of the Municipal Manager tabled with Council? Council was notified at the in-committee meeting on the 26th of November, so it should be November, not January, 2022. And the council resolution on that was C/1/01/11/21. Is the acting municipal manager Richard Bosman appointed by council resolution or seconded by province? Mr. Bosman was recommended by the MEC's office as being capable and available, but he was not seconded. What was the process followed? It was through council resolution C/1/01/11/21. Is it correct that the qualifications or CV was not tabled with the council for consideration, was only considered by the DA caucus? The CV was available for scrutiny at the meeting and was considered by the joint council, which consisted of the DA, the AEF, and the PDC. It was not a DA decision. Then, what was the What was the legislation that gives sole powers to a political party to recruit and appoint a municipal manager? and what capacity does the DA caucus process to undertake? It was not a decision by one political party, but by three parties ruling in the coalition government, i.e. a majority of council. Can council afford to pay 2 salaries to the municipal managers who are employed by Bitou Municipality, considering the state of finances? It was for the month of December 2021 only that 2 salaries needed to be paid. Too often in past years, burdens been added to current Section 56 managers, expecting them to act for another position in addition to their duties, rendering them partially ineffective. It was deemed that the skills of Mr. Bosman would serve to benefit Bitou Municipality during the transitional phase since the elections of new office bearers on the 18th of November 2021. Is the Executive Mayor empowered to stop disciplinary processes in order to re-employ a so-called lawyer that was found unethical by the Law Society on his practice license being suspended for an indefinite period? A so-called Alan Krautz was also found guilty of maladministration during his tenure. And no process was stopped. However, the Labour Court did find the dismissal of Mr. Krautz to be unfair. Is the Executive Mayor empowered to instruct the administration to stop payment for the services rendered by service providers, as evident in his letters to the resigned municipal manager? The monitoring of payments was necessary to bring financial stability to the Bitou Municipality, as for previous months the expenses had exceeded income. This was also a subsequent recommendation from the Western Cape Provincial Government to arrest the financial decline in Bitou Municipality. Those were the responses, Speaker.
Thanks, Executive Mayor. Thank you. Councillor Kabai.
Speaker, I find the answers very appalling. And moreover, really, they are showing the residents that the arrogance that is really in this council on the other side, that is the executive. Speaker, procedurally, because we have two spheres of government, province and the municipality. You do communication in correspondence. Can the executive mayor give us, as this council, the letter that was written to the MEC and the letter that was a response? Because our council here, we are not a spaza shop. We need things to be written accordingly.
Speaker, point of order.
Now,
Speaker. Point of order, Speaker.
I will recognize you now, Councillor. Yeah.
Now, Mr. Speaker, also other answers there, because the executive mayor is talking about the caucus of the DA, AUF, and PTC in government. This is government. You do things in council. You bring them in council. Whatever decision that has been taken, it's a council decision. So automatically, that is why I was saying those answers are appalling, and I'm shaking here. People are going to see those answers, and we are going to be a laughing stock. Seriously.
Thank you.
I just wanted to raise.
Councillor Mangaba.
Thank you, Speaker. Just to add on what Councillor Kapai is actually stating, because as I went through all these questions, I find that some of them are not even, some of these answers are not even answering the questions. Because for starters, I've been in every council meeting there was, but I don't recall seeing Bosman's CV, for instance. So I'm not sure if it was tabled in my presence. How was it tabled? How on earth do I not know about it? And then again, it further explains at the bottom that because of Mr. Bosman's skills, he stood to benefit Bitou. In what manner? Like what skills are we speaking about? If none of his resume or CV was tabled, because all he's actually proven to us that he ran away. Like for now, like he vanished. That's all I will recall him for. Interfering with administration and then after that vanishing. And then now it has become a norm that in this council that whatever report there is, or whatever letter there is, or whatever resignation there is, or whatever communication there is, it's not tabulated. We're just told this and this happened, and this and this happened, and we are expected to actually go on and just sign on dotted lines. You can't expect us to serve to the best of our ability if you are tying our hands behind our backs. I wish to take you back. There was a point where Advocate Ngoko resigned. We were told no paperwork was given to us. No thorough explanation was given to us, and we were expected to actually go on. And it's a regular occurrence that whenever that side of the table wants to actually make decisions, and they steerhead us into actually making them with them. For us to actually stand for, it's not 5 minutes yet, for us to actually stand for good governance, we need to be provided with every information there is, and things must be done right. Because when we walk out of this place, we say council has decided on a particular decision that we're not even a part of. Thank you.
You had your chance, Councillor Kapai. Councillor Nell?
Speaker, thank you. I'm not going to burden council with further arguments and discussions, Speaker. The matter is settled, the matter is done. It is actually moot as we sit here because the Constitutional Court has found and finally confirmed that Advocate Ngoko's appointment was irregular, as all the courts before that had found as well. So this is actually an empty argument that we are
don't rush. Thank you.
Order, Speaker. On a point of order.
Just a minute. Just a minute.
No.
Can we get order? Okay. There's different hands. Can I schedule the order, please? Then to note that your hand, and then don't ever act as if I don't recognize you, Mr. Mhlana.
Hands been up for a while.
That's why I was trying to get the order right, but there's a screaming coming on me here too. I will first give Councillor Mhlana and then Councillor Botha.
And me.
You had your chance to speak on the matter. Councillor Mhlana?
Yeah. Speaker, my fellow councillor here must not set the tone for yourself. You are the speaker, he's not the speaker. You are the chairperson. You are the chairperson of this meeting, not him. Secondly, on the questions, there is not only one question that speaks about crowds. There are various number of questions. In fact, Speaker, do not allow this executive to substitute our responsibility as council with a caucus. A caucus of AUF, PDC, and DA remains a caucus, not council. We are council. And come again?
Can we?
The council decision is listed there.
Councillor, come.
No, on the response, Speaker, let me address you. I know these kindergarten politicians. On the response, it says the CV was considered by PDC, DA, and AUF, which is wrong. We have not seen the CV of the runaway man. And that must be rectified moving forward, Speaker.
I will allow one more argument, Councillor Botha.
I think the key point here that we are trying to make is that transparency is what should be had in council. Although we understand that we're not in the ruling coalition, we should be given sight of all these necessary documents, and the correct rules and procedures should follow in terms of that. I mean, it would have been nice to have known the caliber of the man that was leading the municipality for the next 3 months. So then we could comment knowledgeably. So I think in future, if we can just request that, please let's follow the correct rules and procedures, and let's be transparent and provide the documentation as necessary.
Thank you, Councillor. On that note,
Speaker, on that, the matter of crowds is still pending.
Councillor Kapai, I haven't recognized you yet. I haven't recognized you yet. I understand your point here.
The matter of crowds is still
I
pending.
haven't recognized you. I was busy talking here. Can I ask that you please stop?
Won the case.
Councillor Kapai, I ask that you stop.
I wanted to record that because
I did not recognize you. I did not recognize you. I was busy talking, and you were talking on. Councillor Botha, thank you very much for the input. I think we've dwelt enough time on this matter. Matter will now then be closed. We will move on. We do take that in terms of transparency. We will have to act better in that regard. Thank you, therefore, for your response, Executive Mayor. We will move on from point 13 to point 14 on the agenda, which is the considerations of motions of exigency, of which we received none. Thanks. We will then move to point 15, and on that note, can we grant the administration 5 minutes of time, and also excuse our directors present. Thank you. We will resume in 5. Thank you very much.